All right. So I hope I'm live now. Are you able to hear my voice? Am I audible to all of you? Okay, fine. So welcome back to this particular channel of Pradhan Academy. I wish you are doing wonderful, right? With your preparation and your revision strategies are going wonderfully, right? So it's just the final laps what we are going to complete today. So today we are back again with another important topic, that is the topic of differentiation, right? So this is a very important chapter, and I took this topic just to show you that the different types of questions that can be also framed in your JEE mains from this particular chapter of differentiation alone, right? Now, if you think that this is a different chapter, it's not that important, but yeah, you're going to use the concept of differentiation in almost every chapter. So that's why I took this particular chapter as a separate previous year questions topics. Okay, so you will see that there are some of the very tricky and interesting previous year questions that has been framed from this chapter of differentiation. Okay, now this session won't be a long session, but it will be a really important session, okay? Because sometimes tricky questions can be asked from this particular chapter, and many students are not able to interpret those questions, will be having difficulty in order to fetch their good marks. Alright, so before we start the session, I would like to tell all of you that if you are new to this particular channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also click on the bell icon so that you don't miss out any upcoming notification, right? We are coming live daily. We are discussing the JEE mains previous year question sessions, and in every session we are taking up an important topics and the important questions as well, right? So these sessions are really useful, especially for the students who are preparing for their session for their second attempt. Okay, and if you have done your preparation and you are just looking out for a source for revision, my dear friend, you are in the right platform. All right, and you can always connect with me on the Telegram channel. So that group link for the Telegram channel is in the description box. Okay, also you can contact my team with the contact number that you have seen in the description box. So in case you want a personalized one-to-one doubt clearance or one-to-one classes, then or if you want a group tuition, you can always contact in the undersigned number that is present in the description box. Okay, so with this thing, let's get started. Now before you start with this particular session, I would like to tell you that before you come for the session, please revise your NCERT. Please revise the NCERT as well as practice the question from your NCERT exemplar. Now this is basically a very important resource, because you will be seeing that all the JEE mains questions are basically kind of framed from these types of questions. Okay, now NCERT especially for class 12th is really important, so make sure that you recall and revise that particular part. Okay, so both class 11th and class 11th are important, so you don't miss out on that particular part. Okay, now what you can do is that before coming to the session, you can basically recall or recap all those concepts from the NCERT and NCERT exemplars along with your short notes, along with a short note. Okay, and try to practice this previous year question along with the session. Okay, so please make a note of this particular previous year questions and try to make that also in a short notes. That will actually help you out when you're actually going for your final examination, or before the day you have to revise the entire syllabus. It is going to be really useful. Okay, so with this particular note, I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope this particular part is clear to all of you, right? So please give me a thumbs up in the live chat so that we can start the session of today's class, right? So today our goal is to basically discuss about the differentiation previous year question. We will be basically seeing all the previous year questions, all the important previous year questions from your JEE mains part, and we'll practice both MCQ as well as numerical type questions. We'll also try to understand what are the types of JEE advanced integer type question or a single type question that can be framed from this particular topic, right? Also, you have to understand that some of the JEE advanced topics are also many times repeated in the JEE mains itself, right? So that's why preparing both JEE mains and advanced questions or previous year questions are really useful, especially for your JEE mains, right? And then I will also tell you that what kind of question you can expect for your JEE mains examination, right? So with this, let's get started with the very first problem on our screen. So I would request all of you to, if you have studied this particular chapter, please try to go through this problem. Please try to go through this problem and try to solve it. Try to solve this, right? This is a very simple problem. If you try to look at this problem, you will be definitely getting the hint how to solve it, right? So let's try to read the problem. So the question says that I have a function which is defined with a domain of all positive real number, right, except 0, and its codomain is all the real numbers, right? Now it is said that is a differential function, right? So if you recall from the last class of differentiability, we have discussed about differentiability, right? So differentiability basically means that continuity of first derivative of x, right? That is basically means differentiability, right? So or the first differentiability, right? So differentiability of function basically means the slope is continuous. The slope of the function at a point is a continuous, right? So now it is said that it is differentiable at all points. At all point basically means all points in its domain, right? At all points. Okay. Now it is saying that it satisfies the condition that is x square into f dash of x is equals to 2x f of x plus of 3 over here as mentioned in the problem, right? Now it is said that for the given values are f of 1 is equal to 4, and we have to basically find out the value of 2 times of f of 2. We have to basically find the value of 2 times of f of 2. That is what we have to find it out in this particular problem, right? So let us try to see how we basically try to process this problem, right? So looking at the question, you are not getting any clue on how to approach this problem, right? Now that is a very interesting way, because these kinds of problems are really tricky, and students actually face difficulty in order to solve these kinds of tricky problems, right? So it is very important to understand how we basically proceed for this question. Okay, now I will be showing you the different methods. Okay, now you can always come up with your own methods as well, but for this particular class I am trying to show it by a standard method that generally students need to follow. Okay, so the method what you can do now, seeing at this particular equation over here, seeing at this functional equation over here, what comes to my mind is that let us try to take it on one side. Let us try to make it like x square into f dash of x minus of 2 times of f dash of x, right? Now looking at this particular expression, I recall a very important thing, that is whenever I learned the differentiation of the fraction, that is u by v. So if you recall that this is basically equal to v square in the denominator part, and in the numerator it is basically v into u dash minus u into v dash, right? Now if you look at this particular format, that is v into u dash minus u into v dash, what you can see, if I consider this x square as v and f dash as u, so this is basically u dash v and this is really v dash u, right? So you can observe this particular kind of observation. Okay, now for this kind of observation you have to basically practice these kinds of questions. Okay, this is very interesting, and to understand this kind of observation, especially for the chapter of differential equation, this kind of observation is very useful, right? So let us try to learn it from now only. All right, so now from here what I am missing is that I'm missing x to the power 4 in the denominator, so that I can write it as x square of whole square of that, and is equals to 3 divided by x to the power 4, 3 divided by x to the power 4 over here, right? Now this is basically the derivative of this, basically can be written as dy dx of f of x by x square, and that is basically mentioned in the problem as 3 upon x square. Now in order to get the function from the derivative form to its original form, we have to basically do the antiderivative or the integration. So if we integrate both the sides, we are going to get f of x by x square is equals to, so integration of, so we have to basically perform the integration of 3 by x to the power 4 dx, and that is basically equals to minus of 1 upon x cube plus some constant c, right? So therefore I can write this particular functional form of f of x can be written as minus of 1 upon x plus c times of x square. That is what I can write it up from here. Now at x equals to 1, so I have the function of value at x equals to 1, it is equals to 4. So at x equals to 1, f of 1 is equals to 4, which is equals to minus of 1 plus c, and from here the value of c is going to be equal to 5. So from here your value of c is going to be equal to 5. So therefore you found out the constant, that is from here. So therefore you got the functional form, that is f of x is equals to 5x square minus of 1 by x, 5x square minus of 1 upon x, right? Now we have to find the value of 2 times of f of 2, which is basically equal to 2 times of minus of 1 by 2 plus 20, because 5 into 4 is going to be 20, right? So from this you are going to get the answer to this question is going to be equal to 39. I hope this part is clear. So with this part you are going to have the value of 2 times of f of 2 is going to be option number D, that is 39. I hope this question is clear to all of you, right? Please let me know this question is clear or not. Please let me know if this particular question is clear or not. I hope you are able to follow this question, right? I hope you are able to follow this question. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. I will repeat this question for you again. Okay, now this is very important to understand this types of problems, because especially for your JEE mains, these kinds of problems are very common. Okay, so you have to learn the trick to solve this question. Okay, once you understand the way to solve this question, you can attempt any types of questions that is possible in the examination. Now you can always come up with your own methods as well. I don't have any problem, right? What you can do is that if you look at this particular form over here, now if you have studied differential equation, let us consider this f of x as some y. Let us consider this f of x as some y. So therefore this is going to be dy by dx, and if I divide by x square, it is going to be 2 upon x into y is equals to 3 upon x square. Now if you have studied the differential equation, this is basically a first order linear differential equation. So this also you can solve it by first order linear differential equation, right? So you know the integrating factor over here, that is e to the power the integration of this particular function. So from there you can solve this question, and then the solution will basically be like y into integrating factor is equals to integration of integrating factor into 3 by x square dx, right? That is how you get the solution, right? So therefore from here also you can get the solution, right? But if you haven't studied the differential equation, then also you can try to solve this problem. All right, so just it's a matter of thought or matter of way how you visualize the problem. Okay, now you have to be very creative around by juggling around this algebra part, right? So I hope this is clear to all of you. Please let me know this part is clear or not. Okay, and if you are new to this particular channel, I would request all of you to please watch the sessions one after the other. Okay, so we have already finished up with the coordinate geometry. We have finished the algebra part, right? So if you haven't watched those particular session, you can always go to the you can always check out the channel, and in under the live tab you'll find out all the sessions. Okay, so please go to the live tab and you will find out the sessions over there. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? So let's proceed with the next problem. Let's proceed with the next problem. So next problem is again another very interesting problem over here, as you can see. So the question is talking about that I have the value of log of y is equals to 3 times of sine inverse of x. Log of y is basically equals to 3 times of sine inverse of x, and it is given natural log, right? Base e. Now from here I can easily write this y as e to the power 3 times of sine inverse of x, right? Now we have to basically look at this particular expression, that is 1 minus x square y double dash minus x into y dash at x equals to 1 upon 2. So that is what we have to find out from here. Now let us try to first of all differentiate this particular expression one time. Okay, so differentiate. So I'm writing short form. Okay, differentiate this particular expression with respect to x first time. So therefore your dy by dx is equals to y dash and is equals to going to be e to the power 3 times of sine inverse of x multiplied with 3 by square root of 1 minus x square. 3 by square root of 1 minus x square. So from this particular part you're going to get 1 minus x square square root of that into y dash is equals to 3 times of y, because this e to the power 3 sine x is basically nothing but y, right? So I can write this particular expression like this. Now I am writing this particular expression just to simplify the expression, right? So you will understand that this is basically done for a purpose. Now what I can do from here is that I will try to differentiate this again. And then if I differentiate this again, I'm going to get, so this is now I'm to differentiate with the respect to the product rule, right? So this is 1 minus square root of 1 minus x square into y double dash minus of now y minus, because the so if you write plus also, but when you differentiate this square root of 1 minus x square, there's going to be minus there. Okay, so that's why I'm writing the minus over here directly. So minus of, so first of all it is going to give 1 by 2 times of square root of 1 minus x square into minus of 2x, right? So that is that minus I'm writing over here. So that's why I'm ignoring this minus over here. I hope you're getting it, right? So from this is going to be the differentiation, and is equals to 3 times of y dash, and is equals to 3 times of y dash. I hope this part is clear. Now if we just simplify this particular expression, I will get it as 1 minus x square into y double dash minus of x into y dash is equals to 3y dash into square root of 1 minus x square into square root of 1 minus x square, right? Now at x equals to 1 upon 2, at x equals to 1 upon 2, let us try to find out what is the value of this particular expression. Okay, so this particular expression at x equals to 1 upon 2, so from here, from the first derivative y dash is equals to, so y dash at x equals to 1 upon 2 is basically equals to e to the power 3 times of pi by 6, right? That is going to be e to the power pi by 2, right? So y dash is e to the power pi by 2. So from here, this particular expression is going to be equal to 3 into e to the power pi by 2 into square root of 1 by 2 into square root of 1 by 2. Sorry, it's going to be root 3 by 2, right? Root 3 by 2. All right. So I hope this is getting clear. And now from this particular expression, what you look over here is that this is the expression that is basically asked in the problem. This is the expression that is basically being asked in the problem, as you can see over here, right? So therefore, the value is therefore going to come out as, so the value is therefore going to come out as, so 1 minus x squared is basically root 3 by 2. So I hope I'm doing it correctly. So let me check, is there any mistake or not? So y dash is basically going to be, oh okay, I forgot to calculate the entire y dash, right? It is e to the power pi by 2 multiplied with, so that is multiplied with 3 upon root 3 by 2, right? That is also I forgot to I've missed out, right? So therefore again we have another root 3 by sorry, I will have another 3 by root 3 by 2, that is basically root 3 2 root 3. Okay, that is basically going to 2 root 3. So this 2 and 2 get cancelled out, and ultimately you are left out with the answer as 9 e to the power pi by 2. 9 e to the power pi by 2 is therefore going to the required value of the solution, that is 1 minus x square y double dash minus x into y dash. That is what the value of this particular expression at x equals to 1 upon 2 going to be come out of. Okay, now you can always try to go on doing it, differentiating multiple times, but what is basically to understand is that how you can simplify the expression. So instead of taking this expression as e to the power 3 sine inverse of x, and instead of integrating sine inverse of x every time, so let us know why not put it in terms of y, because you know that e to the power x expression is basically e to the power x expression. When you differentiate it, it's basically going to come out the same expression. It's basically going to come out as the same expression, right? Okay, so all right, I hope this expression is clear. So from here, you're going to get the answer to this particular problem as option number A. I hope you're also getting the answer as option number A. So this is going to be the correct answer for this particular problem. All right, please let me know if it's clear or not. Please let me know if this part is clear or not. I hope this particular part is clear to all of you. I hope this particular part is clear to all of you. Great. Please let me know if this part is clear or not. All right, so let's proceed with the next question then. So once this part is clear, let us proceed with the next problem. Right? So the next problem is on our screen. Now again, this question is a very interesting problem, but everything is given. So you just have to differentiate and put the value to get to the unknown values of A, B and C. Very simple, straightforward problem. So let us see. So given f of x is basically ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus of 41, right? And it is said that f of 1 is equals to 40, and f dash of 1 is equals to 2, and f double dash of 1 is equals to 4, right? So let us keep on. So f of 1 is going to generate the answer as a plus b plus c plus of 41 is equals to 40. So from here, the value of a plus b plus c is going to be equal to -1. That's our first option. first equation, right? And then if we differentiate this particular expression, you are going to get as 2 times of a 3x square, sorry, 3 times of a times x square plus 2 times of x into b plus c is going to be equals to the f dash of x. So if I put at f dash of 1, it is going to be equal to 3a plus 2b plus of c, which is equals to 2 over here. Okay, it is basically given as 2 over here. Now similarly, if you differentiate it again, if you differentiate this part again, we are going to get it as 6xa plus 2b, and at x equals to 1, we are going to get the value as f double dash of 1 is basically given as 4. So from this particular part, I'll get it as 6 times of a plus 2 times of b is equals to 4. Right, now you have given 4 equations and 4 unknowns. That's what you have to solve for. You are having 4 equations and 4 unknown. That's what you have to solve for in order to get to the values of a and b, right? So if you just try to solve it from these 4 equations and 4 unknown, it's just a simple problem. You just have to solve this 4 equation and 4 unknown to get to the value, right? So from this particular equation, and if you look at the second expression over here, right? So what you can do, what I would suggest is that you can try to explicitly write c as minus 1 times of 1 plus a plus b, right? And if you just try to put this back in this equation, you'll get an equation as of the form, this is basically equal to 3 times of a plus b is equal to 2. That is a sort by taking 2 as a common factor, right? And similarly, if you put it over here, you're going to get the value as, so if you just put it back over here, you're going to get the value. So let us continue the next page. It's going to be 3 times of b plus 2 times of b minus of 1 plus a plus b, right? And that is basically given in the problem as 2, right? So if you just simplify this part, it is going to be equal to 2a plus of b is equals to 3. 2a plus of b is equals to 3, and also we have 3a plus b is equals to 4. So from these two equations, from this two particular equation, we can solve for these solutions, and we will basically get a is equal to minus of 1, and therefore we will also get b is equals to, so once we get a is equal to minus of 1, we'll get the value of b is equals to, so b will come out as 5. Okay, a is equal to minus 1 and b will come out as 5, right? And from these two parts, you will see the value of c is going to come out as, your value of c is going to come out as minus of 5, right? So b is 5 and c is minus of 5. So therefore, we have to basically find out the value of a square plus b square plus c square, right? So that value is equals to 51. So that particular value is equals to 61. Okay. I hope this part is clear to all of you. So therefore, from here, I hope you are also getting the answer as option number B. Now, this is fairly simple problem, right? So option B is going to be the correct answer for this particular problem. Is this part clear to all of you? Is this part clear to all of you? Please let me know. Please let me know in the comments, is this part clear or not? Okay. So this was a fairly simple problem. You just have to solve for the given equations, and the given unknown will definitely come out very easy. All right. So please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you have any questions. So option number B is going to be the correct answer. Option number B is definitely going to be the correct answer, right? I hope you're also getting option number B as the correct answer. Okay. So let's proceed with the next problem then. So let us proceed with the next problem. Let us proceed with the next problem. So the next problem is saying that for a differential function, we are having these following equations as follows, right? Now this is another tricky question. So it is saying that for a differential function h, f of 0 is equals to 0, f of 1 is equals to 1, and if you find out f dash of 0, it is equals to h dash of 1, and it is equals to 2, right? That is basically given in the question. And it is said that there is one more function, there is another function g of x, which is defined as h into h of e to the power x and e to the power h of x, right? That is what is mentioned in the problem. Now we have to find out the g dash of x, right? So what you have to do basically to find out the g dash of x. So you can see g dash of x is basically defined in terms of a product of two values, right? So we're just going to use simply the product rule. So product rule, if we just use the product rule and we differentiate this, g dash of x is basically equals to h dash of e to the power x into e to the power x by chain rule into e to the power h of x plus, now I will differentiate the second function, that is e to the power h of x, that is going to be e to the power h of x into h dash of x multiplied with h of e to the power x, right? So that is going to be the first derivative of g dash of x. That is going to be the first derivative of g dash of x. Now, in order to get to the value of g dash of 1, g dash of 0, I'll just put the value of x is equal to 0. So from here, I'll get h dash of 1. I'll just get this as h dash of 1 into 1 into e to the power h of 0 is going to be 0, so that is going to be 1 another, and e to the power 0 is going to be another 1, and h dash of 1, h dash of 0 into h of this is going to be h of 1, right? So now we are just going to simplify and put the values over here, and ultimately the value is going to come out as 4. So from here, your option number A is going to come out as a correct answer. So I hope you can understand that how simple the problems are from the chapter of differentiation, right? Now sometimes the problems are tricky, sometimes the problems are simply easy, right? So you just have to, it's a matter of fact that how you take up these questions. Okay, so you can just see that these are all the JEE Mains questions. So JEE Mains questions are not very difficult also. Now these types of questions are really simple. You just need to have your patience, right? Try to form the product rule and write the answers as fast as possible, right? So that's how you can get easy +4 in the examination. All right, so this part is clear to all of you. I hope this particular part is clear to all of you, right? So now let's proceed with the next problem. So next problem is again a very interesting problem over here. So if you look at this particular problem over here, we have the functional definition which is defined in a piecewise manner. The functional definition is defined in a piecewise manner. So the function is defined as f of x is defined as x square into sine of 1 upon x into sine of 1 upon x. It is for when x is not equal to 0, and when x is equal to 0, it is equal to 0. So we have to basically find out for the second derivative, and we'll check which of the following is correct or not, right? So if we look at this particular definition and let us try to use this definition when x is not equal to 0. So for this particular definition, you will get f dash of x is equals to again we are going to use the product rule. So that is going to be 3x square into sine of 1 by x minus 3x, this is going to be x cube, right? I've written the question wrong, so it's going to be x cube, right? Yeah, fine. So this is going to be x cube, so 3x square into sine of 1 upon x minus x cube, and cos of 1 upon x into minus of 1 upon x square, right? Into minus of 1 upon x square. Okay, so from here, this first derivative is going to be equal to 3x square into sine of 1 upon x minus and minus will get plus, right? Just a minute, let me check. So this will be a plus over here, plus and minus will be minus, right? So x into cos of 1 upon x, right? Now we have to find the second derivative. So if we just go on, now interestingly, if you look at this first two options, they are definitely going to be the wrong option, right? Because f of 0 is 0. So if you take out the first derivative also, that is basically a constant point, right? So that is derivative is also going to be 0. But interestingly, we find out from this particular problem is that this function f dash of 0 is not defined, as it involves the terms like 1 upon x. So if you just try to find out the derivative at f dash of 0, you're not going to get the answer, right? So therefore it involves terms like 1 by x, so therefore that is not defined. Okay, now in order to find a second derivative, if I find a second derivative from here, the second derivative is going to be equal to 6x into sine of 1 upon x minus of 3x into cos of 1 upon x minus of cos of 1 upon x. Okay, minus of cos of 1 upon x and minus of 1 upon x into sine of 1 upon x into sine of 1 upon x. That is going to be the answer from here, right? So that is going to be a second derivative. Right? So now we just have to see and check the value at x equals to 2 by pi. Now we have to check the value at x equals to 2 by pi. So if we just try to check the value at x equals to 2 by pi, so x equals to 2 by pi, this 1 upon x is going to be pi by 2. So this cos will be equal to 0, this is also going to 0, and this is going to be equal to 1. So therefore, ultimately, the answer to this particular problem is going to be 12 upon pi minus pi by 2. 12 upon pi minus of 1 by 2, that is going to be equal to 24 minus pi square. 24 minus pi square. 24 minus of pi square whole divided by 2 pi, that is going to be the solution for this particular problem. So from here, if you look at this option, the option number C is going to be the correct answer. So option number C is going to be the correct answer for this particular problem. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Now the questions what you are seeing is basically fairly simple. You just have to use your IQ and try to achieve these problems quickly. Okay, so if you just be open-minded in the examination, then you are going to get these questions totally right. Okay, so please have this kind of matter of fact that you have to be very open-minded to approach any types of question. Okay, the concepts are very simple. You just have to approach the question and try to get the answer right. Very simple, straightforward problem. So once you get the value, once you find the derivative, you just have to put the value, get to the answer. That's what the questions are. So you can just see that differentiation, the method of differentiation chapter is fairly simple. Okay, unless and until you get a tricky questions. Okay, now especially sometimes the questions are like, for example, that I define. Now this is an interesting problem, that is why I'm trying to show it to you. So let us say I have a function like f inverse of x, right? And let us say this f inverse of x is basically defined as g of x. Okay, now you must be knowing that there is a very interesting relation in composition of function, that is f inverse of x is equal to 1, right? F inverse of x is equals to 1, provided that f inverse function exists, right? So sometimes the inverse function won't be given, sometimes a difficult function will be given, but in order to, so the inverse of which is difficult to find. Okay, sometimes, so let us say that y is equal to f of x, the inverse is difficult to find. Okay, the inverse is difficult to find, is difficult to get. Okay, and they will ask you the derivative of this inverse. Okay, the derivative of this inverse with respect to x. So how will you approach this particular problem? So in order to approach this problem, we are going to use the simple concept of the composition of function, right? So now if I differentiate this again, it is going to be f dash of f inverse of x multiplied with f inverse of f, and derivative of that is equals to 0, right? So that is how we are basically going to approach this concept. Sorry, very sorry, this is going to be equal to x. Okay, very sorry, is going to be equal to x. Okay, so from here it is going to be equal to 1, right? And that's how you're going to proceed with these problems. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, so you just need to use the concept of composition of function. Okay, you just need to use the concept of composition of function, so then you're basically going to get the answer very simple. Okay, I hope this part is clear to all of you. So let us proceed to the next problem. So next problem is again a very interesting problem. As you can see, this problem is an interesting problem, and I would like to give you the way you are going to approach this problem. So if we look at this problem, it is said that f dash of 1 is equals to limit a tends to infinity a square into f of 1 upon a, right? And let us consider that f dash of 1 is equal to some finite value, that is basically equal to k. Let, okay, this is, we are assuming. Now it is said that limit x into 0 f of x by x square, because what you can see over here, this particular function that I am assuming out, so if it is f of x, then it is 1 upon x square, right? So that's how it is equals to limit x tending to 0 f double dash of x. So I just use the L'Hopital rule. So if I just double differentiate this x by 2, it is going to be equal to finite value. So from here we'll find out that f double dash of 0 is basically equal to 2k. F double dash of 0 is basically equal to 2k, and that is a wonderful hint in order to try this question. Now I would request all of you to please try this question as a homework. So I have given out the important hint, and from here you can take on the solution of the problem. Okay, so the solution of the problem will be discussed in the Telegram channel itself. Okay, so please join the Telegram channel. I will share the solution as well as the lecture material in the Telegram channel itself. Okay, so I hope from here you can take up the question and you can let me know the answer you're getting. Okay, so most probably you will get the answers correct. Okay, you just have to use this particular principle in order to solve the question, and once you go to solve the question you will get it. Okay, how to solve this question, very simple. All right, now I have one more homework problem for all of you, is this problem. Okay, so I would request all of you to please try out this particular problem. This problem is another very interesting problem, so I would request all of you to please try this problem. Okay, this problem is very interesting and important as well. All right, so I have one more homework problem. So this is the problem that I was talking about, right? This is the problem I was talking about, that whenever the g of f of x is equal to x, and that how you have to basically get the g dash of x function. So from here you have to just do it, g dash of f of x multiplied with f dash of x is equals to 1. That's how you're going to get the solution, right? So once you know f of x, so g dash of x, so you have to basically get out that at which value of x you're getting f of x equals to 2. So if we just put x equals to 0, if you're getting x equal to 0, then f of x is basically 2. So that is g dash of 2 into f dash of 0 is equals to 1. So we are just going to differentiate f dash of 0 and get the value to get the g dash of 2. That's what how you have to answer this problem over here. So we just quickly do that. If you just quickly do that, you'll get g dash of 2 is equals to 1 upon f dash, that is basically 5 times of 5 times x to the power 4 plus 2 into e to the power x by 4 into 1 upon 4. So from here your g dash of x is g dash of 2, your g dash of 2 is basically going to be equal to 2, and therefore 8 times of g dash of 2 is going to be equal to 4, So from here the answer to this particular problem is going to be equal to 4, option number A. So you can see that these kinds of problems where it involves a composition of function are very simple to solve. All right, so oh, very sorry, it's 8 into 2, that is going to be equal to 16. Very sorry. So therefore the answer is going to be option number C. Extremely sorry. So option number C is going to be the answer. Okay, please don't make this kind of silly mistakes in multiplication. Okay, so I hope with this part we are done with the solving all the important questions from the chapters of methods of differentiation. So I would request all of you to please solve this homework problem and let me know the answers you are getting in the comment section. So with this I would like to end the session, and I hope this particular session was helpful enough to revise the entire chapter of differentiation. Okay, so you can just see the questions are very simple. You just have to understand how to differentiate, how to solve the tricky problem. So 1 or 2 questions you can try out and try to practice all the problems. That will actually help out. Okay, and what I would request you that you can also try to solve the JEE advanced previous year question, because they are also really good question. Because if you look at the last problem that I solved it over here, it's a problem from the IIT JEE problems of the very old paper. Okay, so that you can see that the motivation are taken almost from the JEE advanced papers. Okay, so with this part let us end our session over here, and thank you for your attention.